"19, waiting for a passenger from Sallyport Road."
Okay, 19. Anyone near the station? Taking 17. Pick up a Mrs. Jackman to go to St. Paul's. Thank you.
His older brother Joss is an MP. Kept on about how his party intends to improve the grant. I didn't tell him I'd work part-time at the Bel Air.
I bet you didn't.
You know MPs have a salon of their own?
No, I didn't.
And here with some more sound and advice is the old maestro himself, David Carn.
Oh,
Mature?
better. I could pass the late 30s. In the dark with the light behind.
Who you kidding?
Straight away, that gives me a cue for a real oldie from the 30s that never fades.
Do I love you? Do I? Doesn't one and one make two?
Dropping to near zero with widespread freezing conditions.
You are listening to David Carn on Radio West.
Got a letter from a forthright young man the other day who suggested I was an old square. What could I do? Horsewhip him? Fight a duel with him? Have him drummed out of the regiment? He could be right, of course. And if he is, I'm unrepentant. Here's a piece of music dedicated to all the other old squares like me. May we reign forever.
Hello?
Moonbeam?
Yes?
Client, category A.
No one tonight. I told you I'm tired.
I should have said A+.
Here's someone I always longed to meet, but never did. Once he passed me by in the film studios, but I was all got up as a Roman centurion, feeling a bit idiotic. Warlords of Gaul, remember? Anyway, here he is, the one and only Jack Buchanan.
Yes. Right, we've got a few callers waiting, so what we'll do is we'll take your phone number and phone you back in about 10 minutes, okay? What is it? Okay, we'll phone you back. Bye.
Keep it flowing, Smoothie.
Let me guide you on your homeward way out there to your boeuf bourguignon.
Sorry, I unwound with Radio 3, Berlioz tonight. Benvenuto Cellini.
Low treason. Ah. Cheers.
How much brandy in that?
2 fingers.
Everything all right, then?
Everything's fine, thanks, Don. No problems.
You should be in my shoes. Good night, David. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night, Liz.
Whatever you do, I'll do. Wherever you choose to go, I'll go. And I'll be to you whatever you want me to. Whatever is in my heart, you know. So try it again. Get a smile upon your face. Face the sun. and let us find out. Weep no more, my baby, your baby's home again.
Yes. I want to speak to David Carn.
Delighted to hear it,
I'm afraid, as you can hear, he's
I
busy.
always think that if
When
you really
he's
believe
free,
something is unfair,
He's on for another hour.
plain antisocial.
Look, just tell him it's personal.
About it without doing
Tell him
anything.
it's Sarah Marshall.
Radio
For a
West
moment,
here.
let's sit back together.
Yeah.
Hi, Stu. Radio West. David, can you see someone in reception?
Who is it?
Her name's Sarah Marshall. Says it's urgent, personal.
Sorry, Sonia. I can't see anyone.
Bastards. All of them bastards.
I saw you opening that bookshop on Saturday, and all I wanted to say is that you were lovely. You're exactly like I thought you were going to be.
And you're lovely too, Dinah.
I've seen all your old films, you know. All of them.
You are brave, my love. Stirring stuff, isn't it?
You chose it.
Right. Timothy, you out there?
Yes, David. It's Tim, actually.
Then Tim it is. I knew a Timothy once. It was called Mothy. How would you like that, Tim?
Not at all, David. What I wanted to ask was... I know you've been married 3 times and that, and perhaps maybe you think you're not the best one qualified to say. But on the other hand, you must have learned something, mustn't you?
Well, a little.
That's what I thought. So don't you think that experience in living with someone is what counts? I mean the mistakes.
Ah, yes. The mistakes.
I was interested in what the last speaker said.
Timothy? I mean Tim.
Yes, I'm happily married, David.
I'm glad to hear it, Georgina.
And we don't get bored because he's on night work and I'm in an office all day. So we don't see a lot of each other.
Well, Georgina, perhaps you've discovered the recipe for a happy marriage. Now, don't go away. Let's think about that for a while we have a song about love.
Boring.
She needs someone to talk to.
All of them.
The time just coming up to 7 a.m. Let's have some more traffic news. Dan. Well, this little item won't make it any brighter.
Can't I ever get my own paper fresh in the morning?
I was just warming it up for you. I used to iron them, you know.
Got a job today?
Prospects.
So I have prospects too.
Of a settlement of rent? Certainly.
Do you want to hang on for a lift? You were out of petrol last night.
I was out of everything last night. Did your friend's dinner party go all right?
I enjoyed it immensely.
Oh, good.
How is Eddie Shoestring Limited managing without an office?
Well, it wasn't really worth keeping it on for the sort of business I was being offered. Now I can pick and choose. I'll see you. Hello, how are you? Shoestring.
Yes, one thing.
Thank you.
You always hope it won't be this time. We've been to 3 different mortuaries in 3 different cities.
Knew she wasn't in London. Couldn't have stayed anywhere near home without seeing us.
Listed as a missing person a year ago. Long time.
What did she do here? Why did she die on that beach?
And a quick reminder about this morning's info desk. The subject under discussion will be the highly topical one of the law, the police, and you, the citizen. And Paul's guest across the info desk today will be the barrister Erica Bayliss, who works with the police legal department, so she should know.
Erica, you know you've been mentioned 3 times already on Radio West. They've been discussing your briefs.
It's only 9:15 in the morning. It's especially early for elderly jokes.
That's exactly what I mean. I mean, it's 9:15 and already you're a celebrity. By noon or 12 o'clock even, you'll be a legend in your own lifetime.
Move out of the way. I want to wax my legs.
Yes, I'll move. Wax your legs? With the wireless?
Michael Parkinson might be listening. Anyway, it's radio, not wireless. Not only your jokes that are old-fashioned.
Thank you.
Haven't seen that shirt before.
It's a pyjama jacket.
You poor man.
No, not at all. I think it's quite interesting as a shirt, don't you? Now, I might phone in myself. There are 1 or 2 points I'd like to clarify about certain types of prosecution.
Would you dare?
Bit nervous, eh?
Not in the least.
Hands are shaking.
It's not shaking. It's waving goodbye.
I think you've probably created sensation. There's something strangely exciting about having a landlady who's a celebrity.
Won't make any difference to the rent you owe.
Now, if I may, I'd like to hear from Detective Inspector Brinkley. Inspector?
Sir, in view of the nature of this case, we'd like a little more time with our inquiries. There are 1 or 2 aspects we're not quite satisfied with, and an adjournment would be much appreciated by us. 7 days would suffice, I think, sir.
I see. Very well, we shall record that this inquest was formally adjourned on police application for, yes, 14 days.
Thank you, sir.
In the meantime, may this court once again express its deepest sympathy for the next of kin, Mr. and Mrs. Nolan.
The coroner agreed to an adjournment application by the police, who said that further investigations were still being made into the circumstances that led the girl, known as Sarah Marshall, to a lonely beach where she died from exposure on Tuesday night. The car belonging to Radio West's David Carn was spotted in mid-morning by a fisherman, Mr. Thomas O'Malley.
If you can guess the name of this disc before the lyrics start, you can win an album of your choice and a T-shirt of your size.
Well, I'll do it.
Or maybe the other way around. Anyway, can't be bad. Are you ready?
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
Ready? Just hold the line. You go upstairs to the
Morning, David.
What have we got?
Just hold the line.
Here's a rough format.
You've chosen my hit disc of the weekend.
Yeah, well, sure have.
Speak to your reading now.
Ta-ra.
You okay? Otherwise it's got interference.
Sure. I felt better.
Right, just hold the line. Pretend to come on.
Come on.
Oh, I know this.
Oh, has Kevin gone out yet?
He's in the control room with John.
Tell him I want to see him before he goes out, will you? Morning, Peter. Good stuff on that fire last night. Top rate. Keep it up. Oh, thanks, Don. Anything else?
Just the ops committee at 2. And David should be waiting as you asked in your office. Few letters.
Right.
And there's another tape in your left-hand drawer.
Thanks.
Before you go out, Mr. Satchley, can I have a private word with you? Urgent. To do with David and Sarah Marshall. I've only just heard her full name for the first time. I've got something to tell you.
And the first caller on the line is Keith from Weston. Good morning, Keith. Hello, Keith. Is there a Keith in the house? We are Keithless. Well, let's go on to our second caller.
Got Keith.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Erica.
Hello.
Good morning, Keith.
I'd like to ask a question about legal aid.
All right, Keith. Fire away.
All I'm saying is, some of us who were fond of Sarah. Now, you don't know the truth, that's for sure.
What truth? Will you give me your name, please?
Get this, lady. Your Mr. Carn doesn't come clean, and he's for it. Do you read me?
What are you trying to say, Don?
Oh, come on, David. Don't make it.
You get a handful of letters. A few poison phone-ins. Good God. Read some of this muck, you'd think I was responsible for everything from the cost of living to the crucifixion.
No wonder I get bloody ulcers. A girl young enough to be your granddaughter drives your car to the beach and virtually kills herself. She has a fistful of pills and half a bottle of your brandy in her. A man whose wife is out of the country. And all you can say is that magically she knew you had a spare key for the rolls attached under a wing.
I told the police I couldn't understand that. Maybe I mentioned it, unwittingly, on the air. One thing I do know, I had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with that poor girl's death. Very attractive, your barrister lady. Get a ready-made program out of her.
It's a thought. Look, David, just you and me in these four walls. I'm asking you to level with me so that we can, you know, look after you.
Always assuming I need looking after. But then who doesn't?
Then tell me this, David. The thing that really worries me. Something the police don't know.
What?
3 nights ago, that kid came here. Sonia called you from control, remember?
Maybe she did. I was in the middle of my program. You know that.
You're saying you don't remember?
What I'm saying is this, Don. If you're thinking of taking me off the air, you better think again. Cancel my shows, and I'm obviously guilty of something.
I just can't get over her being here. To think you've even made business trips.
So close.
Now here we are, staying under an assumed name. Just like her. In an out-of-the-way hotel.
I thought it was best.
For your name. And the company's. Wouldn't want to make an exhibition of yourself, would you? Not even to cry about it.
Stop it, Grace. She was my daughter.
She was our daughter. And she's dead.
And you know there's nothing more important, is there, Mr. Willard? Thanks again for calling. I see
Yes,
I've
I
just been given the
read about the girl who was found dead. Wasn't the inquest this morning?
Adjourned for further inquiries.
Morning song.
Please, have a seat. Would it be unethical to ask you what implications there are in an adjournment, Mrs. Bayliss?
Well, there's nothing sinister in it. 9 times out of 10.
But when it's resumed, when more inquiries have been made,
Well, it depends if anybody has had anything to hide.
Some damaging statements can be made at inquests.
In Mr. Carn's case, well, as I said, it depends.
I'll put it this way. He might be in some sort of trouble. He might not. He won't help. Help us to help him.
Check on him and the girl, you mean? It sounds as if you need a private detective, Mr. Satchley.
I'm not here!
You're not supposed to come here. This boat helped save my sanity once. It is private.
How busy are you?
Very. How did you get on?
Jimmy Young's show next. No, seriously, how busy are you?
Told you. I'm working on the boat.
Horizontally?
In computers, it used to be called lateral thinking.
Well, hang on to your rigging, sailor. You have a new client.
Oh, there you are. Thank you. Well, you can see, it's very delicate. He's just about my #1 attraction. There'll be no joy to it to see dirty washing waving in the wind, believe me. But if I am going out on a limb for David, not taking him off the air, I've got to know.
As a friend or as a station boss?
He's what I think they call a private person. There's a great deal about him I should admire.
Should?
Should, yes. He's good. Well-liked by everyone over there. Not like me. I first met him years ago, when I was a sound engineer. He came in to give an interview. That was in his big film star days. Bogart, Hawkins, Finch, those guys. Oh, was he brash then? Already married twice. He's now on his 4th. Virginia Prescott.
She's a big name in the theatre, isn't she?
She's in a play on Broadway.
Oh, Mr. Carn must have something.
Or nothing. She's always in a play somewhere. Same again, please. So anyway, I didn't see him again until a couple of years ago at a village fete. He was still driving a Rolls, of course.
Of course.
I offered him a program spot. It worked out well. People wrote in, so I put him under contract. Next thing you know, he's a star again. What do I owe you?
51, sir.
Here's a scratchy number
Oh, I think I've got it.
It's so old it has to be played with a ballpoint pen.
Is that how I come across to you?
I'm sorry, it's an irritating habit of mine.
You come highly recommended, Mr. Shoestring. Are you interested? Is it really shoestring?
Yes, I usually double my fee because of it. This Mr. Carn, does he know that you've called me in?
No, not yet.
Acting underhand, yes, difficult.
I'm not asking you to check on him. I'm asking you to check on the girl.
You don't believe me? Look in the evening paper.
Why are you so determined to spoil my lunch? Just what is in this paper?
The inquest was adjourned.
Have a drink. I know you wouldn't at this time of day, would you? Mineral water. That's what's wrong with your sex life, Willis, drinking too much fizzy water.
The police. They're about to start asking questions.
What does it matter? Nothing to do with us, is it?
It happened because of us.
Fasten your seatbelt and sit tight, Willis. A few months ago, you were wagging your little tail with excitement. Now, all of a sudden, you've got trouble with your conscience. I'll take it you figure.
He's waiting outside the car, and all of a sudden... Excuse me, Rob.
It's very good of you, Mr. Tilley. How much?
You don't look like a private eye to me, boy.
Do you come from Chicago?
I think I'll be going, my dear. Sorry about the grub, but it's catchers catch can in this game. Fancy a French fry?
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Shoestring, how did you know Sarah worked here? It wasn't mentioned in the papers.
No. No, I asked a friend who asked a friend in the police.
Ah, well, I weren't able to help the police, so I don't see how else I can help you.
Business is good?
Oh, very good. How does the sound grab you?
On the throat?
Yeah. Pop in a few years will be dead. Jazz will be the big thing. Mark my words. I know what I'm talking about.
Put money on it, would you?
I already have. Consider this. By the time I'm 30, I'll either be a millionaire or I'll be pushing up daisies.
Too many chips. About Sarah.
Oh, nice kid.
An underage until last month.
Oh, yeah, well, as I already explained to the police, she fooled me there. I mean, some of these young girls, they can make a mockery of the law now, can't they? I think you've clicked.
Okay.
One in the sparkly jacket, I reckon she's lovely with you.
When you opened 6 months ago, Sarah was here.
Yeah?
And the opening, a special night, wasn't it?
Oh, invited guests only.
Including David Carn.
Among others.
So he might have met Sarah.
He might not, I don't know. She did her job well. Then she left in February, 14th of February. I ain't never seen her since.
How do you remember it was the 14th?
Because we had a St. Valentine's Day massacre night.
I wish you'd take that hat off. You keep reminding me of somebody.
Ah, Ronald Coleman.
No. Mickey Rooney.
Well, as I said, I can't be of any assistance. And your time's up.
That friend, the friend of my friend, would be very interested to know about all those little colored pills that get passed around in here. I heard about that from another friend, Mr. Tilley, so maybe you could do me the favor of asking around about Sarah. And this is my new phone number.
Well, I'm very busy. But I should watch out for that girl if I were you. She don't half fancy you.
Hello.
Hello. You on your own?
Am I?
Because me and my friend want to dance. And I wondered if you'd look after my handbag.
Thank you. Excuse me, have you got the time?
Yeah.
You like sandbags?
Mr. Shoestring?
Yes?
Someone phoned you on my behalf last night.
Yes. Yes, you did, Mr. Willis.
Oh, I see.
I'm actually very good with voices. It's useful in my game. Are you staying here, eh?
No, I'm not, as a matter of fact.
A neutral ground.
What is your game?
I used to be like you. Executive zombie. Moron. I was in computers.
Oh?
Yes. I blew a fuse. Smashed one up. Computer, that is. So they confiscated my code key and carted me off to a lunatic asylum.
For psychiatry?
Not analysis. That's the reason I'm always drawing. It's the only way to keep sane.
I see.
Look, I used to let the doctors do all the talking, so perhaps if you'd like to start.
All right, I'll come out into the open vis-a-vis your inquiries. Drop them, and you'll be paid double your fee.
That's $500,000.
I see. You aren't interested in Molly?
Oh, yes. I find her the most attractive thing in the world. Goodbye, Mr. Willis. And give my regards to Mrs. Willis.
Thought to ring. Are you police? Well, Inspector Brinkley called me up and said you were through here. So I came down again for her things.
I was just taking a last cursory look. Allow me.
Oh, thank you. Have you found out anything else?
No. I was wondering if you and your husband had any ideas.
Well, we wouldn't, would we? Not knowing for a year. All this, it seems so strange. Makes the things you know upset you even more.
I'm very sorry for the intrusion. Do excuse me.
Anybody do me Bath Road to Mill Street, sure up at its weight and return? Yes, I drove her once or twice.
Only once or twice with you in her book.
16, okay. Customer's name Stanton. S-T-A-N-T-O-N. Out.
You see, Laurie, I'm trying to get a picture of the girl.
Well, I'm not in it, mate. Oh, no.
No?
Strictly work.
And what about her work?
Oh, I'm not going to condemn it. It's the way of the world, isn't it? No questions asked.
So you know where she went and who with?
Right. Sometimes with a bloke, sometimes with another girl.
Well, where did they go?
How can I remember that?
Well, where from?
Don't you know that?
No, I don't. Look, Laurie. Here's a tenner. And a lightning portrait for the wife.
Looks nothing like her.
Barry? Mr. Hendry. Look, about Moonbeam. Someone might come asking questions. You let me know. Yeah. Especially someone called...
Eddie Shoestring.
Shoestring. Shoestring. What? He's just booked.
Here you are, sir. That's sauna's in there, shower's over there, and that's the door to the pool.
Thank you. Oh, before you go, I'd like a word.
Yes?
Yes. About Sarah and David Carn. You did phone Radio West about Carn, didn't you? Oh, come on. I recognize your voice from the phone-in tape.
What do you want to know? I don't know who you are. I don't know why you ask me these questions. What's your connection with Sarah anyway?
Do you care about her death? She needn't have died, you know.
I can't tell you anything.
No? Who says? Friends of Sarah's?
I'll tell you what. You go in the sauna. I've got some things to do. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
and then maybe we'll talk. Okay?
All right.
Anybody in the sauna there with him? All right, leave Shoestring. Bring him with us.
Sorry, I can't find him anywhere.
Well, perhaps you can help me. It's about Sarah Marshall. Now, Laurie, the taxi driver, told me about Diana, who works here. Is she on duty?
She's visiting her parents in Cardiff till tomorrow.
Oh, when she comes back, where can I find her?
I'm going round the corner for some Chinese.
No, thanks.
Somebody wants a word with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All this for a chop suey.
Inside, down on the right.
Come in, Mr. Shoestring. Please.
It's very kind of you. Thank you very much. More neutral ground?
Scandalous, isn't it? What football hooligans can do to the rolling stock. Such violence these days. Chinese? What you got? Sweet and sour? Noodles?
No, I've got some big fleas and little fleas.
What?
You. Willis. Tilly. And who else?
We checked this office. You moved out. Business isn't so hot?
Can't complain.
Not from this part of the country, are you?
No.
But here long enough to know that this is a businessman's city, owned by businessmen and run by businessmen. That's how it's always been. And that's how it always will be.
Now, let me guess. You're trying to tell me something, Mr. I don't know your name.
There, I knew you were an intelligent sort of a chap. A word in the right ear, and you could find yourself with, say, new premises, possibly even a retainer or two.
Oh, but there's got to be a catch in it somewhere. I know there has.
Could also mean that a word in the wrong ear, and you will find earning a living in this city impossible, to say the least.
I knew it. And who does this wrong ear belong to?
Don't go poking about into people's personal lives, Shoestring. It could cause considerable embarrassment. To coin a phrase, stick to debt collecting and let dead women lie.
She must have had some very important friends, this young lady.
There, you've heard what I've said. There's a good chap.
No, definitely not a big flea. You are strictly second-rate.
Try not to break anything.
changed my mind. How much did you get?
It'll need reheating. I saw it as I got into the carriage. It was YLE 847S. Mercedes.
I told you. I just can't do it like that, you know.
But it's in a computer.
Just working in the regional police legal department doesn't, believe it or not, give me carte blanche.
Oh, if you can, you can. If you can't, forget it. You're good with your hands? That's a potter.
In my last year. I've got a job lined up in France.
Oh, so that's the end of your being the end of your work at the sauna?
About Sarah.
Yes. You worked with her a few times. You did the hotel.
Did I?
Didn't you?
Visiting farm and expense account Vikings, you know the scene. For most of us, it's the money, pure and simple. Well, maybe not so pure.
Would you like to tell me about Sarah?
Listen, we worked together. No way would I call myself her best friend.
Yeah, but did she earn a good living?
She was doing all right.
Good clientele?
She had some pretty good connections.
Influential?
You're not expecting me to name names?
No, of course not, no. What about Willis? Tilly? And a horrible bloke with a Mercedes and a nasty streak? All right, then, just one name. David Carn. Did you hear about Barry at the sauna?
No,
He's in hospital. He got beaten up.
I didn't know that. Why?
Would Sarah have kept a little black book?
Not necessarily. I never put anything down in writing.
Oh, you're very clever. Look, just tell me, Diana, please. Did David Carn know Sarah?
Okay. Yes. He was very special to her.
Yeah, but did it work the other way around? Was she special to him?
Maybe. Maybe not.
No point in denying it, then? Not really. May I ask what you're going to do with this information?
Nothing.
I assume you're working for those poor parents. I almost went to the inquest, you know. But, apart from everything else, possible.
Police could find out for themselves?
About her job at the sauna, you mean?
Yeah. And her clients there, elsewhere?
I was always discreet, you know. Well, I suppose if it has to come out, it has to come out. They'll take me apart on the media, I expect. And on Radio West. No idea what her real age was the first time I met her. As a matter of fact, it was she who mentioned that she worked at the sauna. Then one day, I found myself getting into a taxi and...
You took her out in your rolls too, didn't you?
Oh, only a couple of times. But once I lost the damn key. So she knew where the spare was. Underneath the front wing.
And her visit that night?
Yes. She came to Radio West. I really wouldn't talk to her. I didn't realize she was in a state. And believe me, I had no idea what it could have been about.
You see, that's the unanswered question. Why a whore like Sarah should suddenly lose her cool.
I have nothing to offer there. All I can say is that as far as we were concerned, she was never silly or pushy or starstruck. She was, oh, I don't know, young.
Keeping fit in body, if not mind, Mr. Hendry. I'm surprised you ever needed a sauna.
How did you get in here?
Charm, panache, bit of bribery.
This is a private sports club. I'll have you thrown out.
And roughed up again.
No idea what you're talking about.
Sarah Marshall had a little black book. Did you know that? That's how I got your car registration.
What do you mean, little black book? All those businessmen in this businessmen's city? In the wrong hands, and there could be a few red faces like yours at next month's Rotary Club meeting. Like I said, you are a second-rate flea. Because you are sheltering somebody.
I'm advising you one last time, Shoestring. Don't go on with this.
What made Sarah Marshall kill herself? Who had an appointment with her that night?
Get lost.
And that's for spoiling my Chinese.
Hello. Hello. Excuse me, you have a list of companies that use this club?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, well, I've just been talking to a Mr. Anthony Hendry. He's a nice bloke, isn't he? And I wonder if you could tell me which company he's with.
Why have you come up to London, Mr. Shoestring?
To meet the chairman, the big boss, of the parent company who made frequent visits to the West Country.
How did you find out?
For that, you can thank your young executives. They fixed you up at the hotel that night, didn't they? Bit of a case of keeping it in the family.
Yes, Mr. Shoestring. By some ghastly mischance, my own daughter arrived. And there I was, ready to buy her favors. I opened the door and we just stood on either side. Over a year. I didn't recognize her at first. Then she ran down the corridor to the lift. I followed, but she'd already got in and the doors were closed. I heard her being sick on the way down. And what was I to do? The complete revulsion, hers and mine. Utter revulsion in my case, mostly of myself. So I booked out, went to the station, and took the next train back to London. The next time I saw her, it was in the mortuary. She ran away because, oh, I don't know, so many things. We used to live in the country. Then we moved up to London to be near the city. My mistake. Mammon versus parenthood. Nobody paid much attention to her. My wife and I were too busy with ourselves. Functions and quarrels. Breakfast and quarrels. One bloody great quarrel. We ought to have settled things one way or the other years ago. And now she's dead because I couldn't cope in such an appalling moment. My wife doesn't know. She didn't even know where I was that night. She certainly didn't know I was in the West Country. She doesn't always ask me where I'm going on business.
Yes, right. Mr. Satchley's on his way down.
Okay, thanks. Sorry. Planning committee. 1.5 hours and not a single new program idea. No one's biorhythms were right.
Good, isn't it?
Let's talk in my office. Whether he likes it or not, he's due for a holiday. So, I'm paying, and you still refuse to tell me who caused that girl to kill herself?
Right. You got what you wanted. He's in the clear, except on his own vegetable patch.
Thieves raided a Bristol warehouse last night and escaped with goods said to be worth over £20,000. Radios, tape recorders, and televisions were taken from the warehouse.
Mr.
and
Satchley.
Thieves apparently timed their raid to avoid...
About new program ideas.
You? On radio?
Yes. Well, don't look on it as losing a lodger. Look on it as gaining a public service. And I'm retained, as of now.
But as what?
Here's Paul to give you all the details of everything that's happening here on Radio West, 329 meters.
Thank you, David. And first, let me tell you, listeners, of a fantastic new program we'll be introducing next week. A unique service for you out there. Our very own private detective available to you on phone-in.
27272.
Yes, our very own private eye. Shoestring's the name. That's right, Eddie Shoestring. And if you have the kind of problem you think is a job for investigation, why don't you ring us? We'll take your call in the strictest confidence and pass it on to our private ear on Radio West 329 meters. So why don't you ring us on 27272 and ask for Shoestring.